as of right this moment, we got word that it's not 100% confirmed, but it sounds like in the world of boxing news,
God, I hope this is real.
Canelo versus Jake Paul. Oh my God.
I fucking hope this, like, Sports Center posted it and that they're in the works on it. I'm hoping this is fucking real because I want to see Canelo just fucking knock the shit out of fucking Jake Paul. Out.
Dude.
Like, I don't give a fuck. Canelo hates him. Canelo hates what he does for boxing.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing fixed there because I know Canelo wants to beat the living hell out of him.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't see it being rigged. There's just no way. And Canelo.
They're saying May 3rd. They're saying like fucking May 3rd in Vegas.
Well, I think the reason they do that is because it's around Cinco de Mayo, and Canelo only fights twice a year, and he fights it on Mexico's Independence Day, and Cinco de Mayo. So that would make the most sense. Jake Paul will have his fan base. It will be up against a wall. All of Mexico will be in Las Vegas. All of Mexico will be watching, and the entire world will be hoping that Jake Paul gets knocked out.
I can make my prediction for that fight right now if it does happen.
No. Hold it till at least next episode, and we can at least confirm.
Yo, what's up, all you bloodthirsty fight fans? My name is Van Dam. This is my boy Grind. We talk about fighting all the time. What's up, Grind?
What's up? We will be talking MMA, boxing, and pro wrestling. And you know what? Yeah. We have so much to talk about because there's never a dull day in the fight world.
No, there's too many combat sports going on all year round. Every single weekend, there's something going on for all you avid WWE fans, all you BKFC fans, MMA, whatever it is you like to watch. We're going to be talking about it. Let's get into it, man.
We'll start with the WWE Royal Rumble, which just happened the other weekend.
Crazy card.
My God. And the best part about the best part about the Royal Rumble is you don't know what to expect. You don't know what is coming your way. You don't know who's going to show up. And at the end, it's the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. So,
you know what I love watching about that, though, is all these people, you got all the internet trolls out there, everybody that sits here and goes on and says, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Well, guess what? You don't know what the fuck's going to happen in the Royal Rumble. You don't.
Not at all.
Like, I did not expect half the shit that happened in this year's Royal Rumble to happen. So
no, and you know what is so awesome is the fact that the women's Royal Rumble is now becoming a staple. It's just as entertaining as the men's. And here to keep it simple, man, you had every star you could think of. You had returns that people hadn't seen in years, like the Bella Twins, who had their show, I believe, on the Hallmark Channel or whatever it was.
Like that.
Yeah.
Not like a Hallmark Channel with the whole fucking John Cena thing, but yeah.
Dude. Yeah, we had John Cena later in the night too, which is even crazier to think about.
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa
Bliss.
And you know what's crazy about that, dude? Such a part of my heart is the Fiend character, man. Bray Wyatt, he passed away a few years ago, and to see Alexa Bliss come out with the Fiend Forever, and then with in small letters there was an R and an S that spelt friends forever. It was a beautiful moment. The crowd pop was insane, and you know, to top it off, the cherry on top is the Queen, Charlotte Flair, the prodigy of Ric Flair, won the Royal Rumble.
And what the crazy part about is too, watching it is like, I didn't really think that they were going to put Charlotte Flair over in that moment watching it.
Yes.
And then at the end of it, it all made fucking sense.
It's so cool because they have taken the Raw World's title, the NXT title, and the Women's WWE title, and Charlotte Flair has all the options on the table, so you don't know which way she's going to go. That's what's so cool about the Royal Rumble, man, is it's the road to WrestleMania. Following that, we had one of the greatest tag team matches of all time, a 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. Now, I'll be 1,000% honest. I don't have skin in this game. Neither tag teams really do much for me, but
I'm not a huge fan of either one, but I mean, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this.
I enjoy watching it.
I'll tell you this. The Motor City Machine Guns just signed with the WWE a few months ago, and they have been put over time and time again. They won the tag team championships within just a month of being in the WWE. Now, what's crazy is I thought for sure, since they were a big signing, they would win this match, but it went 1-1. Now, this was the best out of 3 falls. It went DIY, they won 1 fall, then the Motor City Machine Guns won 1 fall, and then I thought for sure, man, there's no way that the WWE wouldn't want the Motor City Machine Guns to win, but they had a situation where another tag team came out, kind of stole the show a little bit, and DIY ended up pulling off the victory, which may set up a feud moving forward for WrestleMania. Which it was really cool, and it was a great story moving into the next few months. Now, following that, you're going, okay, this card has been so good, man. How could it be any better? How could it be any better, right? Well, what's funny is there was only 4 fights on this card. Only 4 fights on this card, or 4. Let's take that back. Only 4 matches on this card. And following that was the Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens ladder match for the WWE title and the Winged Eagle title back from the 1990s. Now, this was supposed to be a one-night only deal on Saturday night's main event a few months ago. However, Kevin Owens stole the title. He stole the Winged Eagle title, and he brought it to the Royal Rumble, thinking he owned the Winged Eagle title, and they wanted to reunify the belts in a ladder match, which was absolute insanity, to the point there was.
I had so many mixed fucking feelings about that fucking match,
right?
I thought Kevin Owens broke his fucking neck.
I thought he was dead, dude.
I thought he fucking broke his fucking neck.
Yeah,
but, like, I watched him just fucking, like, I've seen some guys take some fucking falls in my career, and that shit look real as all hell. And I know people say some of the shit's fucking, all of it's fake. No, you get so many fucking injuries and shit that fucking happen in this damn sport. Like, you can't call that shit fake. No. That motherfucker landed on the top of his fucking head.
And here's the thing. People who, yes, we all know it's predetermined. And as I've talked about it in the past, I like my soap operas. I'm not going to lie. That's why I love the WWE. But I'll tell you this. That's not fake. There's no way to fake that.
No way to fucking fake that.
When you put somebody through a ladder like that and whatnot, and
from fucking 5 feet in the fucking air.
Oh my God, dude. And so I've said this the entire time about Cody Rhodes' Universal Championship run. It has not been as good as the Roman Reigns run. And, you know, it's a hard act to follow, right? Last year, WrestleMania, and the year before that, WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns being the top 3 longest champions of all time, man, that is so hard to follow. And I've said Cody Rhodes has not lived up to that. But I will tell you this, that match was a W, dude. That was
definitely a W.
It kind of stole the show.
For me, the big thing is, like, okay, I'll give it to you. Like, you get me hyped about the WWE because we talk about it all the fucking time. You know, obviously with me, I haven't followed it as much over the years from back, like, when I was in the early 2000s and shit, in the 90s. Growing up, I kind of fell out of it because of other stuff. But I mean, watching it as of late for the past couple of years, on and off, even watching fucking TikToks about it, has got me fucking hyped up. Like, I followed the whole entire all the OTC stuff with Roman Reigns. I followed all of that shit from back of, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
through all the fallouts with freaking Solo Sikoa and all that shit, and it's just been. I've been fucking hyped about it.
Well,
lately.
that's what I'm saying. The bloodline in Roman Reigns era really got the casual or somebody who hadn't been into it back into it. It brought a massive audience of people back into that universe. And so it's great because me and you have a show because of it. You know, it's something that we can talk about, which has weekly television and crazy things happen in it, and so
now it's on fucking Netflix. I can rewind.
It's insane, dude.
I can rewind and watch fucking everything,
right? Yeah, the Netflix era, less commercials, more time. They're not limited to time, so you have so much at your fingertips, and it is hard to keep up with because, you know, I've said this also in the past. There's another show called AEW, and they have a lot of top contending talent. But the problem is there's not enough time in the day to watch it. Because not only are we a pro wrestling show, we are an MMA show and we are a boxing show, right? Yeah. So we have so much to still talk about. So let's get
Right.
through the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
event, which was the men's Royal Rumble. Okay.
Which is absolutely fucking crazy.
One of the
Absolutely
most
crazy.
stacked Royal Rumble cards in the last decade, at least, if not all time, man. I mean, the names that were in this match were, you had the John Cena's of the world, right? You had, at one point, I believe you had Logan Paul, John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. I mean, I know I'm forgetting some, but you had all of them
Too
all.
many fucking people.
Yeah, in the ring at the same time.
Superstar.
Yeah, and you're rooting for all of them, right? You're rooting for your favorite guy. But I'll tell you this: you know what? Did you have a favorite moment of the Royal Rumble? Because I did, and let me tell you my favorite moment, because
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think
Go ahead. Yeah.
it is the biggest social media moment I think potentially ever. I Show Speed, man. I Show Speed was given the keys to the kingdom.
You just took fucking mine, because
right?
That motherfucker.
Yes, dude. I Show Speed was given the keys to the kingdom, right? He shows up and he was live streaming the event. So if you were an I Show Speed fan, and you had notifications on, you knew that he was live during the Royal Rumble, and he went backstage and he met all the stars, and so he met John Cena and got to do all these different little things, which is really cool, because if you're a diehard wrestling fan, you don't get to see the behind the scenes very often while an event is live, right? And so you got to see that he was hanging out in the gorilla position, which is right where they kind of enter, where they stand right before they enter. And one of the stars got hurt. One of them got injured, and there was an attack on one of the stars. And so Triple H looked over and he's like, "We need somebody." And he points to Speed and he goes, "You're in." Yeah. And what's crazy is the live stream for Speed followed him out there. So if you weren't watching the Royal Rumble and you didn't have Peacock, you saw the live stream. And here's the thing. He went in there and he eliminated, like most of the time when a celebrity goes in there, they have a hard time, right? They either jump in, jump out, and that's it. He eliminated a few people, and then he was able to do his little backflip and do the suey thing he does, and he got the biggest pop of the night. And then he took a 25-mile-an-hour spear by a college football player, ex-football player, prodigy wrestler, in Braun Breaker.
He had to have a fucking concussion.
Oh my god!
The way his fucking, I know that fucking ring is made to take fucking slams and shit, but the way that motherfucker's head,
oh my god, dude,
off that fucking mat,
full impact.
I have PTSD from it.
Yes, dude. It was
me being slammed on my fucking head in my career in a fucking cage had me fucking
dude.
Going with PTSD.
He got hit by a Mack truck. He never saw it coming.
Damn.
And that's what a lot of this is, right? I mean, that's what's so special about the Royal Rumble is you have matches throughout the year that are cool and some gimmicky. Like next month, I think we get the Elimination Chamber, which is a very gimmicky style match. Hell in the Cell, which is kind of gimmicky, But this is, in my opinion, like this is the coolest gimmick of the year. Because other than WrestleMania, which is the biggest event of the year, this is the best gimmick because you never know who's going to show up and you never know what the outcome is. And I will tell you this, man, if I had to put money on it, I would put my life savings on it. We get down to two guys. We get down to John Cena and we get down to Jey Uso. Nowhere ever would I have put money on Jey Uso in that moment.
No.
And a lot of it, the reason I wouldn't do it is because John Cena has come out and said he is on his retirement tour. He has stated that he will win one more belt. So that way, when he wins 17, when he gets older, he can be the guy.
Watch someone break 18.
To break 18, yeah.
And
that came out actually after the Royal Rumble, but he was stating, there is a chance that he would go after a world title months ago. He had talked about that. So I would have said in that moment, this is his ticket to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Nope. That's not what happened, man. So, Jey Uso wins the men's Royal Rumble and will be more than likely, in my opinion, he'll be, facing, I think, the world heavyweight champion, which is Gunther. I don't think he'll go after somebody like Cody Rhodes. Time will tell. More episodes of this podcast will tell. But what a way to close out the night. We had
Royal Rumble.
Oh my god, man.
I've seen in a while. So
it was just totally star-studded. kept you on your toes. It wasn't, you couldn't tell who was going to win. You know, it kept it right to that last moment and made that last moment very, very special.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well,
Uh,
shifting off away from the Royal Rumble, this
yes.
is not only just about wrestling. We're talking about all combat sports. This one is now near and dear to my heart because I wish this shit was around when I was still doing my career as an MMA fighter and as a boxer. The BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, right?
Yes. And it was
Knucklemania 5 was a couple of
yes.
weeks ago.
It was Knuckle Mania, man. This is their big
in
one.
Philadelphia, in Philly. And I had some skin in the game with this one, right? We'll get to that. I had some skin in the game. Obviously, one of my best friends I grew up with, but we'll talk about that later. But one of my favorite female fighters of all time from the UFC, I was a huge fan of her all through the UFC. Beck Rawlings, right?
What an
So
image, man. What an image she has, dude. And a ferocity? What's the word I'm looking for?
Ferocity?
Ferocity. What a ferocity
we don't
she
fucking
has.
know English. I don't even know if that's a fucking English word.
I think it is.
Oh, but she's a fucking monster, bro. And watching her come into the BKFC and take on Taylor Starling at Knucklemania 5, that fight was fucking amazing. Now, there was another female fight on that card that I think won fight of the fucking night, the way they went at each other. But these two, I couldn't do anything but root for Beck Rawlings. Fucking great damn fight. She was, I would say, in my opinion, her stand-up has come like leaps and bounds from what it was in the UFC. And the way she lit Taylor Starling up, who Taylor Starling just demolished one of the other BKFC women in her last fight, right? Beck Rawlings just put on a fucking show.
It looks like it was. Listen, I missed it, but it looks like it was completely unanimous.
Oh yeah, full on unanimous decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she lost a single fucking round the entire fight. And you should see Taylor's face was lit up, bro.
Oh man, that is one of the
lit her up.
That is one of the hardest things, man. Is seeing a woman's face, in my opinion, when they get that bad as Kevin Owens, man. It's hard to watch, dude. Because here's the thing, especially with bare knuckle, like there's a level to this game, or shall I say, there's levels to this game when it comes to
100%. Yes.
Like you got pro wrestling, where I'm not going to say how they get their blood, right? And they have that stuff happen. And then you have the UFC and boxing where they have gloves on and it can get pretty bad and people can get cut. But bare knuckle, man. Oh my God. It doesn't take more than a few seconds, more than like one or two hits. And it's terrible.
Because it's like, for me, obviously, I did MMA for years. I did boxing for years. I have taken shots from some guys that have made it to the UFC, have made it, and there was an old fight club down here where I'm from, and it used to be called Toad Holler, which is where the main event of that night got started. We'll get to that. But Toad Holler used to be this little fight club on the south side of Des Moines, Iowa that you fucking went to. We were sneaking in when we were 16, 17 years old. And I was like 17 fighting a guy that was like fucking 30 years old, drunk off his ass, getting in a little boxing ring inside of a bar with a bunch of drunk idiots. And you're just fighting. That's what BKFC reminds me of, man. Like, that's what this shit reminds me of. And I wish this shit would have came around while I was still fighting. I really
somehow it's sanctioned in a few states. And
look, the original UFC obviously was all bare knuckle. Through whatever. But I mean, now it's fucking sanctioned in a bunch of states for bare knuckle.
It's mixed martial arts now, right? Where back when UFC initially became UFC, it was different flavors of martial arts going head to head.
No fucking weight classes. Hoist Gracie fucking fighting a guy that's 400 pounds.
Dude, and destroying them.
Fucking shout out to Hoist Gracie. Fucking the Gracie legends, baby.
What a goat, man. And that's the crazy thing. And I think that's why BKFC is getting all the kudos it can, is because you turn it on and it is the purest form of boxing there is. Because
100%.
The fights in boxing nowadays, they can feel fixed from time to time. And the thing in bare knuckle is you go to sleep with one punch. Like there's no gloves on, so It is a
Speaking
wild.
of that shit,
Oh,
one of the other fights.
yes. Speaking of going to sleep, dude.
Fucking going to sleep.
Hey.
Ben Rothwell, this motherfucker, the heavyweight fight.
Oh man,
the title,
the big boys, dude.
Oh my god,
extra thick,
thick. I met Ben at a show. I want to say it was in Kansas City, Missouri, years ago. This is when he was still in the UFC, and he was still, like, and the dude's fucking hands. You think they're big on TV? This dude's knuckles are like this much fucking bigger than mine. Like, they are gigantic.
It's wild, man. I have a guy in town he's actually a bouncer at a bar, and he was on like one of the seasons of Tough for the UFC. And he was coached under John Jones, and he actually made it to like one of the semifinal rounds on TV. And then they gave him like a 1-fight contract, right? So I see this guy. I'm out at a bar one night in my 20s, and I see this guy. And this guy fought light heavyweight. So he fought 205, right? And I know this is totally like going a little off the rails, but
you're right.
And I shake his hand. His hand wraps around my hand. His head is like twice the size of mine. He's probably 4 inches taller than me. And he cuts down to 205. And I'm like 260, dude. These guys are built different. Like he is somehow carrying less weight. And he's bigger.
Massive.
Like he's just physically bigger. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But anyway, back to Ben Rothwell, man. This guy,
Mick Terrell.
Okay, yeah, and Mick Terrell. But I listen. The only reason I'm saying Big Ben is because Big Ben is the focal point. This is his. This is his coming out party, bro. This is his coming out party. He never got what he deserved in the UFC. Never. And so finally, man, he found, just like Mike Perry, found a home in BKFC.
He's now in a sport where heavy hitters have every fucking shot in the world, because they're not able to take you down. They're not able to try to fucking submit you. You're just going balls to the fucking wall, throwing fucking punches. And when Ben's fucking hands are the size of a fucking goddamn cannonball coming at your fucking head, well, Mick Terrell found that one out the fucking hard way real quick. That son of a bitch got hit. So, and the fact is, like, Ben sat back like this. He was just kind of
distancing him, measuring him.
And then just a big boom. Fucking drop this son of a bitch.
Laid him out
hard.
And
like,
not only did he just lay him out, and he was as stiff as a board, 36 seconds. 36 seconds, dude. I mean,
heavyweight fucking champion. I mean, he's fucking, it was disgusting, bro.
And that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, kudos to him in finding the right place, because it just shows, man, not every place is right for you, you know, and when you find it, you'll know. And he found it. He was in the UFC 10 years ago, right?
Yep.
And just like
you gotta think of the fucking stable he was with in the UFC too. Like, he was in the stable.
Oh my god,
fucking heavyweights.
Alistair Overeem, Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez.
So I mean, he never really got the shot to show what he could do with his fucking hands, because a lot of Ben's fights, he was taken down to the fucking ground.
You're right. He was taken down, and that's where mixed martial arts is a totally different ball game, and it's a totally different flow. Where Big Ben, man, his hands, that's all he's ever needed, and that's
all I needed now. Yep.
That's how he was in the UFC. So it's right time, right place, and kudos and congrats to the veteran Big Ben. You know who else is a veteran?
Ooh, say his name. Say his name.
Eddie Alvarez.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you.
No. So Eddie,
little fucking Heated Stevens.
Yes.
Fucking say it.
We had Eddie Alvarez versus Jeremy Stevens, man, for, I believe, another BKFC title.
No, it wasn't for the title. It was just now they're talking about Jeremy getting a title shot eventually.
Well, the BKFC world's a little weird, because I know Mike Perry has had a belt, and I don't know if they've used them like trophies or they've actually used them like belts. I know they're starting to move in that direction, but for a long time it was like whoever won the main event, they would get
it's a belt now, because Ben got his.
That's what I saw, yeah. And so it seems like they're moving
BKFC,
into divisions.
Now, the way this was, especially with Knucklemania 5, it was in Philadelphia. Fucking Eddie Alvarez is from Philadelphia.
Yeah,
so it was like, and there were so many Philly fucking fighters on that card. So many of them, especially the Southside Philly guy who got knocked the living fuck out of. Have to run his mouth at the weigh-ins, bro.
The best part of this entire thing with Jeremy Stevens and Eddie Alvarez is Conor McGregor, in my opinion. Conor McGregor shows up because he owns part of the company, and he's right there, and he is just he is fiending to be a part of this thing, to have the attention on him. And it's funny because, like Logan Paul said in one of the most recent episodes of Impulsive, dude, he can't even do his main job. Conor can't even do his main job, dude. He's side questing. He's side questing over here.
About fighting.
He's not doing a damn thing, dude.
Fucking millionaire. Why the fuck does he need to fight again?
He's not. He's not going to. He's proven it. He's not going to. He's not going to in BKFC. He's not going to go fight one of the Paul brothers. He's not going to go fight a UFC. I mean, he may, for the right money and the right person down the line, may come back for one fight in the UFC, but other than that, Dana's got him tied down. He ain't going anywhere.
I see Jeremy Stevens knocking him the fuck out in the BKFC anyway. Because listen, here's the thing about Jeremy Stevens and why I got so fucking excited. As you know, I'm from fucking Des Moines, Iowa. I grew up with this motherfucker. I played baseball with this fucker. We went to the 1600 World Series together as an AAU team, right? Like, I've known him my whole life. I literally pulled this son of a gun off of another fucking dude at the South Des Moines Little League baseball fields back in the day. Like, I've seen how fucking hard he hits. I know how fucking hard he hits. So he's a veteran of the UFC since he was 21 years old, bro.
Yeah,
he's now 38.
That's crazy.
Like, he was in the UFC for so fucking long, and he had gotten his shots over and over and over again, right? But in a world where, you know, you've got wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, Muay Thai, all this shit combined, now the fucking Southside Pride fucking comes out and gets to fucking just throw his hands like he used to. I was fucking excited. I knew Eddie Alvarez was gonna get his fucking jaw knocked in.
The best part to me is like
fucking broken.
Yeah, dude. Eddie's done. Eddie's done, and he's got nothing else to prove. I mean, let's be honest. I think he's in it because he loves it, and a lot of these guys don't know when to stop, and now it's time to stop.
Well, no respect to him. I fucking respect the fuck out of him. He's one of the best fighters of all fucking time.
But at the same time, I mean, you think of Eddie Alvarez's run, dude. He had a 10-year in Bellator. He was a champion in Bellator, and then he moves over to the UFC and becomes champion in the UFC. Right? Has one of the biggest fights, one of the biggest knockouts of all time. Again, gets knocked out by Conor McGregor. Right? So, and then is able to find success in anywhere he goes. Bare knuckle, he found success in. So. He beat Chad Mendes in the last BKFC. So he's had success everywhere. There's nothing left. And it hurts to watch somebody like that who has been around that long get knocked out, especially when you see how ferocious Jeremy, is. Jeremy is so nasty when he knocks somebody out. And that's what he's always been known for. And
the biggest thing about him too is like people think it was all fake the way he runs his mouth. No, that motherfucker's been like that since we were kids.
Yeah.
Like that is 1000% who he is.
Oh, I know.
He will run his mouth to you. He doesn't give a shit.
Well, if anybody doesn't know, this is the guy who Conor McGregor made that amazing meme with.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Because at the time,
you find out. Fucking sign the contract.
Yes,
get your ass knocked out too.
That would have been an amazing fight at that time. I do think at that time Conor would have won because Conor's the hype around Conor at that time. He was invincible, right? I think the only thing that really shut down Conor was Khabib. And I think that put the statement, like, you can't fucking win. You can't beat and it wasn't just Khabib. It was Khabib and the rest of Khabib's people that were coming into his whole
fucking goddamn camp.
Yeah. That literally moved into the UFC and took over, so
Jesus.
And I don't think, I mean, it's a crazy thing that with Conor, it's funny to see him still in the limelight, and you see him there and he's like the third guy. He's like literally more hyped up than Eddie was or Jeremy was in the way and in the stare down. And I'm like, this is just weird, dude. Like, I don't like it because I want the attention on Jeremy and Eddie, and I've kind of lost respect for Conor in that regard because it's like he's just a loud.
He has to have the spotlight on him. That's the thing. He's got to have the spotlight on him. He was like that in the UFC, so it's. I mean, what was going to fucking change? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. And he's got money now, so he's everywhere.
Yeah. But the UFC was fucking awesome. But speaking of the UFC, right?
Yes.
UFC 312 is coming up.
It is. It's this weekend.
This weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And is it Strickland. It's Duplessis and Strickland 2,
Yes.
right?
UFC
So
312. Since we've been talking for a while, we're just going to go into the co-main event and the main event. I think it will leave the rest, and we can get back to that when we talk about the reaction to it, because
2 championship fights.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is both of these fights, the co-main event and the main event, deserve a little bit of talking about. The co-main event is a women's strawweight match, which might be the best strawweight champion of all time, Zhang Weili, versus Tatiana Suarez. That's a hard tongue twister name.
You live in California, motherfucker. Say the name right.
Suarez. Okay.
Suarez.
All right.
Yes. Weili is by far one of the best strawweight champions of all fucking.
Yes, one of the best wrestlers of all time, but then her striking is outmatched as well. And Tatiana Suarez is somebody that is not to be discounted for, because she is a dark horse. People believe in her and whatnot. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, man, until Zhang Weili is outmatched, which I don't believe she's ever been outmatched, I am 100%, I'm going to say knockout.
My biggest thing is, I feel like if Tatiana cannot defend the ground and defend takedowns, she doesn't stand a chance. Now, Tatiana's stand-up, on the other hand, different story. Tatiana can throw, and she picks her angles very well. She's very good
against Zhang Weili, though, dude. I mean, we're talking at strawweight. I don't believe she's had a counterpartner or a counter puncher that has been able to figure her out. Zhang Weili picks her shots and puts and turns people's faces into like a meat pie, dude. It is
her head movement. Her head movement is what is probably one of her biggest strengths in her game.
Yeah,
is the way she picks her angles, and her head movement is always, she's moves out of the way of every fucking pinch that gets thrown at her.
Well, and
her counter punch after it. I mean,
and then she follows up with a takedown, right? So you don't know if she's going to shoot or if she's not, and that really throws a lot of people off. And then this is a championship fight, so this is going to go 5. They could go 5 rounds, right?
Right.
And it could be 5 rounds of devastation. And I truly think
fighting off of her back, fighting off takedowns. Yeah.
I don't. If she goes down and she can't get up, I see a crucifix and I've seen it before. I've seen her do it before. It's disgusting. The crucifix. If Zhang Weili can get into the crucifix, it's game over. Or a choke.
Yeah.
I truly see that. I'm gonna say round 2 submission.
I might give it round 3. I feel like Suarez can defend off for a little bit, but I do see Zhang finishing it within either submission. If not, lighten, Tatiana's face completely up.
That would be crazy, because Zhang Weili, she's built like a pit bull, dude, and not many people can stop her takedowns. But it truly is. Does Zhang Weili want to play with her food?
She reminds me of like a female version of Demetrius Johnson.
Oh my god,
100%.
Yeah,
wrestling, stand up.
Demetrius Johnson has the best nickname ever in Mighty Mouse, because if you ever seen the 50s character Mighty Mouse, he literally looks just like him. It's hilarious.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we're both kind of on the same page. She ain't gonna make it out around 3. And then you got the main event, which this is crazy, because
the first fight was fucking nuts.
It was. So but here's the crazy thing is, I thought nobody would figure out Sean Strickland for a while, because
me either. Honestly, I didn't think so either. But
Sean Strickland's Philly shell defense is so bizarre, because nobody uses that technique in a normal fighting pattern. In your boxing, we're talking mixed martial arts. This man has brought the Philly shell to mixed martial arts and made it relevant, and
which is difficult.
It's crazy. But sure enough, the guy that would take him out is Drew. You can say the name Dricus.
Duplessis. Just say Duplessis.
All right, Duplessis.
I can't say his fucking first name right
now. If you've never seen Duplessis fight, he is one of the oddest timing strikers. I mean, he can do everything. And it showed. I thought when I saw Duplessis' first fight prior to him fighting Strickland, I can't remember who it was. It was a few fights ago. It was on his way, his coming up. I thought he looked
Yep.
good, but I didn't think he looked great. I thought his movement was very strange. It was very, very unorthodox and whatnot. However, I was like, when you see somebody beat, the last Stylebender, you see Strickland beat the last Stylebender, and you see how Strickland did it, and he did it with the Philly shell the entire time. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, and that's the other thing. Strickland's takedown defense is great, and then you see Duplessis come in. You see Duplessis come in the first fight against Strickland, and go, oh, takedown defense. Watch this, and just take him down, and you're like, no way, dude. I mean,
and that's what you got to think about it this way: is that you're always going to find someone that's better at a certain technique than you are. And it doesn't matter what you could be, a fucking grandmaster, black belt, whatever the fuck you want to call it in jiu-jitsu. You can be submitted by someone that's a fucking purple belt. You never fucking know.
MMA math never works. It never works. You can literally sit there and study all the tape you want, and then some guy comes out of left field and just hits him with a haymaker, and it's over. I mean, we've seen the craziest. I've seen axe kicks that have literally knocked people out. I mean, the weirdest things have happened. But Duplessis is just known for this weird movement.
The way he picks his fucking angles of his punches, like when he throws a strike, it's from the weirdest fucking angle. It's the way he finds openings from those angles. It's what fucking throws me off. Like, I mean,
yes. And so
I don't get it.
To me, since Duplessis has become champion, he then went and fought Stylebender, right?
Yep.
And he made him look silly, right? I believe he made him look silly. I'm pretty sure he went and
fact check that a little bit. I don't know.
I think
I believe you're right though.
I believe Duplessis fought Stylebender, Israel Asanya. And I believe it went to decision. I could be wrong. Let me know.
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on. Let's look here. Yeah, he did fight Adesanya. Yeah, he submitted him in the 4th round. I remember that now. Yep.
Yes.
UFC 3.
And it showed once again that Duplessis was able to get past the takedown. He was able to take him down. He was able to pass guard frequently. And he was able to mix it up with Asanya, which everybody said, dude, the last Stylebender, for those who don't know, is a video game character. I mean, literally the way this guy strikes, he's fought people like Anderson Silva. And when him and Anderson Silva fought, he still moved more like a video game character than Anderson Silva. So credit to Stylebender. You're watching this, and yes, Strickland beat Stylebender, but watching the way Duplessis did it was just like, okay, Duplessis is the real deal. Like, I thought he was the real deal after Strickland. I didn't know how he'd deal with Stylebender, but now I'm convinced. I don't know who's going to beat him. I mean, and I would like to think that Sean Strickland's takedown defense is going to be strong enough, but I think Duplessis' cardio is just too strong. It really
depends on if what Strickland has been training.
Yeah.
Like really what he's been training on. Has he got the right training partners? Because it really, people don't really understand training partners matter a lot when you're getting ready for a certain style of a fighter. If they can't find someone that's going to give him that same style throughout this entire training camp, I mean,
that's the problem,
hard to
right?
train against someone like that.
Really I mean, you could have all the money in the world, but you can't find someone who it can imitate Duplessis. Yeah. So when it comes down to it, I truly don't. I'm going to give my prediction right now.
Go ahead. I'm on the fence, so go ahead.
All right. My prediction, I'm going to say it goes 4 rounds. Okay. And I'm going to say Duplessis chokes him out on the ground, obviously.
Okay. I want to feel like Strickland can go all 5, but in terms of cardio, it depends on how Duplessis fights this fight, what he puts him through. If he pushes the pace the entire time, if he controls the center of the ring, and it really depends on what Strickland's going to do. I'm going to say Duplessis wins this fight. I'm thinking by decision, but I could be wrong. If my second opinion would be that he finishes him in the 3rd round via submission. But I feel like it might go all 5. I want it to go all 5. I want to see a fucking war. I want to see all 5.
It could be, right? I mean, it could be. It just really, there's a few factors that really come into it, and they're more about Strickland than they are about Duplessis. Like, is the Sean Strickland of the last fight showing up? Because if he is, he ain't gonna last. Or
Right.
is this a Sean Strickland who's hungry, who's been training really hard, and is focused on picking apart Du Plessis? Because
Right.
if he is, then he has a very good chance to weather the storm further on. And maybe we're wrong. I mean, maybe Strickland is full of the hype that he deserves, and maybe he comes out on top. We've seen this where, you know, time and time again, you have these wars where like a Cain Velasquez and Doom kind of situation where Doom would win and then Cain would win and then
Yeah.
Doom would win again, right? So
Yeah.
it could be that Du Plessis loses, but I would, if I was a betting man, I would state that Du Plessis that has showed up time and time again is different. His cardio is insane, and he has been able to get past Strickland.
He's got such a high motor that I just don't see Strickland going all 5 rounds of them. I
And
would wish it would, but I don't see Strickland having the gas for the 4th and 5th round if it does go to later rounds of the championship.
I could get a training partner that can do the Philly shell. Can you find somebody like Du Plessis?
No.
Yeah, that's the question. So
No, he's one of those once in a lifetime like athletes, which now we'll have another one because someone will try to imitate his style, but
Yep.
the way he throws his angles and everything else and his weird style of throwing punches, I don't see that happening.
Well,
I
and
see
this
Strickland
is
losing.
this is the MMA math that we talk about, right? It's
Right.
just somebody will figure out Du Plessis. Is it Strickland? I
But
truly
everybody's
don't.
got a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Everybody's always got a puncher's chance.
I mean,
You never know.
dude, all it takes is one, right? And that's it. So
Find that one hole. Yeah.
yes, UFC 312 this weekend, this Saturday. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited for it. It sounds like you're just as excited for it.
Yes.
Next time we're here, we'll be able to talk the reaction to UFC 12, which should be just as much hype and energy as the predictions. That being said, I'm Grind. This is
I'm
Van
Van
Dam.
Dam.
Later.